What's up, everybody? This is Chris, and I'm one of the hosts of Crucial Tunes. It's a podcast where me and my buddy Larry, we sit around and talk about music. Talk about music we like, music we don't like. Talk about new music, old music, mainstream, underground. Talk to some local bands. Do it all. So if you like music, why don't you tune on in Crucial Tunes every other Friday on the Journey into Comics Network.
The following
Journey into Comics.
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 Journey into Comics
Network
Production.
We're gonna fuck the sodomites in the heritage.
Warning, Podcastrophe imminent. This is Podcastrophe with Nick and Tyler. And Matt coming at you with a fistful of heritage on a podcast where anything goes and there are no safe spaces. This is Podcastrophe.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Podcastrophe, episode 81. I am one of your co-hosts, Matt.
You're the host today.
I'm the host today?
You're the host
I'm the
today.
host today. My name is Matt. This is my co-host, Tyler. We
Hey.
are sitting in Tyler's living room because Blaine is whining, I guess. I don't know. Something about, I need time off. You guys always have time off. Well, sorry, Blaine. We're busy. But-
And we have health problems.
Yeah.
Both of our brains are fucked up.
Real bad, coach.
Don't put me in, coach. My brain can't take it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what's been going down for me.
And me.
Normally, I'm in a dapper suit. Tyler pointed that out today. He was like, "Yo, where's your dapper suit?"
I totally 100% expected you to walk in here in that dapper-ass suit.
Yeah, I haven't been in a dapper ass suit for probably about a month now because I haven't been able to work because of epilepsy. That's been my issue.
I didn't know that you'd been off work.
Yeah, I've pretty much every day I wake up with signs I'm gonna have a seizure, and my job requires me to drive around and try to sell people stuff.
Right?
Well, I probably shouldn't be driving if I'm probably going to have a seizure. So I end up just normally chilling at my house.
It's like
Either asleep or going, man, I wish I could sleep.
it's like that the Asian lady from Family Guy driving down the interstate. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except epileptic.
Yeah, that's so that's what's been going down with me. That's why I've missed the past few episodes too. I've just not been feeling up to it. Today I was having a bit of issues, so I didn't go to work again today. Slept feeling a little bit better in the afternoon, so
Does
Good there.
we can turn a little bit this way too, so we don't have to keep side eyeing each other. We'll just get it. We'll just get it.
I like that.
That's fine. We'll get it. Well, now I'm out of frame. God damn it! I don't have the setup like Blaine's got. The
Yeah.
pod cave, the fucking heritage fortress, the sex dungeon that we have as a podcasting
as much
studio.
as it looks dirty, it's set up pretty decent
Yeah.
down there right now. So
It slightly smells like cat pee and semen. I don't know why.
we don't know why the latter.
Yeah, I mean the cat pee we can establish, but the semen I don't know because I've never witnessed semen out and about. But
That makes one of us.
does I mean, do you take medication?
Yeah, I'm on medication. I actually so I've been trying out CBD oil.
I've heard a lot of success stories from people who are epileptic taking it regularly. Maybe a little bit higher dose than you can just cruise over to your CBD shop and grab it.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems to kind of help, but not too much. However, so everybody always talks about like medical marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
My friend, and I don't know if this is the same thing or not. So I was over at my cousin's house. He's in Illinois, and we had a buddy there too, and he had the like vape pen concentrated THC.
Okay. So you had the good.
Yeah,
You had
and
the
it
good
was,
shit.
It was like a 93% concentrate. So I took one hit of that with him, and I'm not shitting you. That shit sent me into a seizure.
See, and that's funny that you say that, because when I was in high school, I had a friend who was type 1 diabetic, and one night we were getting stoned, and I hadn't been friends with him very long. My buddy Andy, who may or may not jump in the chat later, he had experienced this with Connor before, and I had never seen it. But, you know, Connor being a type 1 diabetic, you know, we're fucking smoking this blunt as fast as we can, and all at once it just sends him into a seizure. Mm-hmm. The THC fucked with his diabetes and made him have a grand mal seizure for no fucking reason.
Yeah, so like those are kind of seizures I have, as I have grand mals. Now when I say I had it, like it sent me into a seizure, I didn't have one actually. Mm-hmm. So what had happened was, like, everything in my head felt like I was about to have one. So we were sitting on the couch and we were playing Halo, old school, Halo 3. And
the worst of the Halos.
I put my head back. We'll agree to disagree there, young man.
I wanted to see if you picked up on it. So you kicked back because you felt it.
And as soon as I put my head back, I went, can't do that because I'm going to have a seizure if I do that. So, and my friend looked at me, he goes, hey, how you doing? And I was like, honestly, I feel like I'm going to have a seizure. I need you to pick me up and pretty much take me to the couch right now. So I laid on the couch for probably like an hour, maybe 2, just sitting there like shaking. And then I passed out.
I mean, because that's really the only thing that you can do after you've had a seizure, right, is go to sleep.
Yeah. So I'm like, I've tried to move everything out of the way because I was convinced I was having one. Mm-hmm. And like, I heard you can talk yourself out of them and everything like that. And I'm just basically just trying to like relax my head, like calm down, you know. But yeah, dude, like that happened, and I was like, the rest of the time I was like, no, I'm good. Get that shit away from me.
No mas.
Yeah.
No mas.
Like, I'll just keep drinking. How about that?
I mean, you know, obviously a lot better than I do, especially because I'm not a neurologist or a neuroscientist. But from my understanding, a seizure of any sort, as far as your brain, is just all the fireworks going off at one time.
Yep. So you have either, essentially, they'll start in one part of your brain or
all of it at once.
Brain. But they have to determine that based off an EEG where you have a seizure during the EEG.
Right.
Much. And I've never had a seizure during my EEG. However, next time I go to a neurologist, I'm going to be like, yo, listen, I know how we can figure this shit out.
So they don't, I mean, because obviously they can't trigger a seizure while you're laying in the machine for liability.
They can try. And I've had them try, and what they did was, so I was on what's called a sleep deprivation EEG. Mm-hmm. So I don't go to bed until like 4 a.m., and then I wake up at 7. I go in, I lay in a chair with all the shit attached to the head, and then you sleep for probably like half hour. Then they wake you up, and they just start flashing fucking lights at you. And
so they're fucking hitting you in your brains at your weakest because you've had almost no REM sleep at all, if any.
Yeah. Because that was one of the main triggers that they said they believed was one of my things was
sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation. Because I always had them at like LAN parties at like 4 o'clock or later. So I'm getting flashed with those lights at like 7:45 in the morning on like 3 hours of sleep, and they said they got little blips of like, hey, this is what we saw, but nothing major. So they can essentially try to send you into a seizure. But yeah, like I said, next time I go into a neurologist and be like, yo, just give me one of those ones that you send with me home. I'll wear it, and I'll just hit up my buddy and be like, give me that stuff one more time.
But at the same time, I mean, there's always a risk of permanent brain damage when you have a seizure, right?
Essentially, yeah, could be. Because
you can only light the fireworks so many times before they don't light anymore. I mean, that's the way that I understand it. I mean, that's a pretty morbid way to put it, but but that's the way that I understand it.
Yeah, that's how I understand it. It's not terribly common though for people with epilepsy. But I mean, I don't quite understand all of it because I try not to worry about it too much because as much as it does affect my life, I don't want it to be the only thing.
You don't want it to control your life.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's really the issues I've been having lately with good old Uncle Epilepsy.
Uncle Epilepsy?
Epilepsy, yeah.
Uncle Epilepsy sounds like a child molester. That sounds like a dude that you don't want to invite to your 4th of July party.
Well, I don't want him at my 4th of July party, but he keeps on touching my brain.
Oh. Get your fat ass back here. Oh, shit. Well, I've also been dealing with some brain stuff, some chemical imbalances in my brain. I've got a college load as an adult, and I thought I was prepared for that, and I was not prepared for that at all. And I'm just about done. It's making me struggle, and so I struggled with. I've battled depression on and off my whole life. I've been aware that I have anxiety. Like when I was a kid, my aunt and I would go to the mall or like Target, and there were certain stores that every time I walked in the store, I would instantly get hot and my body would get all itchy. And when I was a kid, I never knew what that was. And my family, whoever I was with at the time, would always just pass it off like, you don't want to go shopping.
Yeah.
So, you know, we would walk into Target and I would instantly have like, not a panic attack, but I would be heightened awareness, you know, super short fuse, like that person fucking walked too close to me with their cart, and it fucking made me mad.
Yeah.
Like immediately. So, I didn't realize until I was pretty much, I don't know, I think my freshman year of college that I actually had anxiety, and I never went and got medication for it because I was kind of in denial about it. That, you know, I'm a short fuse guy. I've got a really bad temper. Mm-hmm. People always said I had little man syndrome, you know, because I'm a fucking short guy.
Yeah.
And I had a bad attitude and shit like that. But now that I'm an adult and I have to deal with it even more than I did back then, because I could just fucking play video games all night and not go to school, or, you know, or I could hit people because I was an athlete. But I had a job where I had an extreme amount of sleep deprivation, which triggers my migraines.
Yeah.
So much like your seizures, I get fucking crippling migraines if I don't get enough sleep. Or if I go an extended period of time without REM sleep, I will get a migraine that will put me down, and I am fucking 100% comatose. I am useless.
Yeah.
You might as well euthanize me because there's nothing left. But I did that for 5 years, and my anxiety compounded my depression, which then in turn compounded my anxiety, which then in turn compounded my depression, and it just constantly revolves around and around. And I got out of that job, and I started to get sleep. And it's like, man, I feel good.
Yeah.
My anxiety hasn't been as bad. I haven't wanted to fucking hijack a fertilizer truck and go blow up a place. You know, not to hurt anyone else, just strictly to remove me from an equation.
Yeah.
You know, and here lately, I've been so addicted to fucking Apex. And I've been so wrapped up in...
Love that game.
I've been so wrapped up in college and how busy I am. You know, it'll be... I mean, like our podcast day, that's a relaxed day for me because I get to detach from about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on. I get to detach from everything, and if I need to vent, I can vent. But here lately, I'm not getting as much sleep as I need to because I've been, you know, I'm at the tail end of my first year of college again, at almost 30 years old, and we're into the hardest material of the year.
Yeah.
With very, very little instruction. Homework, it's all the homework and stuff like that's online, so you're not learning anything from it because it's all fucking digital. So all of that has made me just not want to do anything other than detach from reality and play Apex.
I'm glad you say that because, like, you know, everybody talks about, like, so my nephew, anytime there's a snow day, they have what's called an e-learning day.
Oh, where they do online schooling.
They do online
I've heard of that becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, more and more prevalent. And I remember for a brief time, I went to go to the University of Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 3 weeks of me trying it, I was like, I can't learn any of this shit.
I mean, it's one thing if you can, you know, if I pulled up a YouTube video right now and I couldn't see, my brain just shut off. That's one of my side effects of sleep deprivation. I'll be mid sentence and then my brain just shuts off.
So, like, if you pulled up, like, a YouTube video,
oh, okay,
you could probably, like, find something to learn.
So if I pulled up a YouTube video right now of a college professor giving a lecture, I could sit down and watch the entire lecture, stay focused, pay attention, and I could probably learn something from it. Mm-hmm. But because I tried the online schooling thing too when I went to college the first time, and I would sit down, I would be prepared to do whatever it was I was doing, and it would start, and then they would lose me right away. And that's almost the same as I had a chemistry professor that same year, and that's why I dropped out of college to begin with. But she was from India, and this isn't discrimination against her, but she couldn't hardly speak but 3 words of English. Okay? It's a chemistry, and this isn't chemistry 101. It's like advanced chemistry.
Yeah.
I tested into advanced chemistry. I'm sitting there prepared for a lecture on day 2. Didn't understand a word she said.
Yeah.
We were there for 3 hours because the way that they structured that class, they blocked it. So you were supposed to have lecture for an hour and a half, and then the lab was in the classroom. So you basically just stood up from your seat and walked over to the lab. That was supposed to be for an hour and a half. So rather than break the class up to 3 days a week, you could have the class one day and get it done for the week. I couldn't understand a word she said. In that first lab session, I walked to the front of the group and stood right next to her, and I could not understand a word she was saying.
That's
how can you be an educator?
Yeah, that's how they do graduate courses also. Mm-hmm. They have they block them to 1 day per week, and it's a 2 hour 45, 3 hour session. And it's just, you know, here's my issue with colleges. It's a very liberal college. So it's just people constantly just, we're going to throw ideas left and right instead of have the material seem to be taught. It's what people's discussion thoughts are of that material that is either assigned as reading or online,
right?
Like research, and it's like, wait a minute, your job is to kind of instruct me on this, not me listen to everybody.
My tuition is paying this business to stay open and your paycheck. Mm-hmm. You are here to educate me.
Yeah.
It's my responsibility to learn. It's your responsibility to teach.
Yeah.
It's not my responsibility to teach myself.
Mm-hmm. And that's been my issue with online, and I like how you say that because everything seems to be moving more towards that, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. I know from experience that I cannot learn from trying to find it online, whether it's a YouTube video or not. Like if it's short, like a short thing that's pretty simple, I can learn it. But if let's say I'm trying to get a certification in, we'll say, computer networking, I can find a YouTube video on all that stuff.
Right.
But I'm not learning it. Like, there's no practice experience with it, like you would have in like a hands-on lab experience or even a virtual lab.
Right.
And then you also don't have someone over your shoulder saying, "Hey, you fucked up there. Like, this is what you actually needed."
And that doesn't even necessarily have to be the instructor or the administrator. That can be you and I as lab partners. You put too much, while, going back to the chemistry thing, you put in too much of one chemical in our little fucking beaker setup, and you creating a volcano instead of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
You know, and me saying, "What the fuck, dumbass?
Yeah.
You did it wrong."
Exactly. There's less of that, and yeah, I don't know if it's quite a good thing or not.
My good buddy Clint Chase says, being a professor at Ivy Tech for 3 years now, half my class is YouTube. It's actually in my extra materials. I can tell you how crappy attending college is nowadays. And this is coming from someone who is a teacher and takes a very different approach at teaching, but gives a shit.
Yeah.
So, like, here's this video. Watch it. We're going to go through it, and then we're going to do it. You're not just going to watch it. I'm going to get paid, and you're going to go home.
Yeah.
You know, you and I have talked before on the show about our opinions on the modern education system and how pathetic it is. Mm-hmm. And that's, in my opinion, K through 12 and on.
Yes.
Especially, let's say, 9 through 12 and on. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of stuff here on Facebook lately where people are calling for the removal of Algebra 2 and having basically the classes that they got in the 50s through the early 90s as adults, the
life skills
life skills classes.
Yeah.
And I think that's good. I think we need to continue to be loud voices and educated voices on that, because when I graduated high school, I still have a checkbook. I still write checks. I know how to write a check. Mm-hmm. When I graduated high school, I'm going to say 9 out of 10 people that I talk to on a daily basis could not write a check.
Yep. No, I agree.
Didn't know how to order checks. Didn't know how. I mean, it's pathetic. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying those people are pathetic, but it's pathetic that not only they didn't get that at home, because I didn't have a choice. It was, here, boy, write this check for me because I'm driving. Mm-hmm. So I had to learn. Writing a check now and balancing a checkbook now are not necessarily relevant skills because they're not as prevalent. But opening up my bank statement and being able to basically balance my bank statement and organize it and say, hey, wait a minute, where'd this charge come from?
A discrepancy.
Yes. Noticing discrepancies, whether they're large or small. Most people don't have that, just right off the top of their head. And I had a problem with math. I've always had a problem with math. I read a neuroscience study, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago now. So I don't know if any of this information is factual, because facts can change. Mm-hmm. But if you take our population and you split it in half, man, women, child, it doesn't matter. If you take our total population and you just divide it in half, 50% of the people, one side of their brain operates stronger than the other side, and that side is reading comprehension, literature, auditory skills, being able to speak, read, and write very well. The other half of the population is math dominated, and the way this study was written up, it is cut and dry. You are either really, really good at math, or you're really, really good at English.
Yeah.
And not just English, but literature and reading comprehension and stuff like that. And it makes sense.
Your brain either thinks more logically or creatively.
Correct.
I come from an education background. That's my bachelor's degree is educational studies. I had a lot of college graduate courses for that degree about multicultural learning, and then also what's it called now? I can't remember. It's been 4 years. Either way, it's different topics about things like music, reading, things like that.
Okay.
Everybody's brain operates differently, can function those things better. Multimodal, that's what it's called. Multimodal learning and everything. So, whereas people who aren't good, let's say learning via video, are better at learning from a auditory thing, so someone lecture. But also, there's people that are just better at certain things, which is what you're saying that study says and backs up. And I have personal experience reading that kind of stuff too. With my issue here with like things like math, people, they're constantly now they're pushing for people to do at least pre-calculus before they graduate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
That trend, I think that trend started the year that I graduated high school.
The year after I graduated,
which was the year I graduated,
was when kids their senior year had to have at least pre-cal.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I never did. I went up to algebra 2 and I said I'm not taking another math because I had no intention on doing anything that I needed that for.
Right.
Like, I don't understand the purpose of needing to know calculus and everything unless you are intending to do some kind of engineering or rocket science.
Mm-hmm. Now, and I would be the first, prior to my job that I have now, I would be the first to say all of this abstract math is bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's not applicable. I've kind of stuck my foot in my mouth for years because a lot of the math that I'm doing right now, whether it's all the math that I do in my college courses apply to what I do on a day-to-day basis. So if I'm going to bend a piece of pipe, it's geometry, calculus, and fucking algebra 2. Mm-hmm. It's all of it together. And I struggled with all of them because I'm not good at math. But so I'm experiencing you'll never use this math. I am using it, and I still don't think it's as important as we stress it.
Yeah.
Because not everyone is going to be an architect.
Exactly.
Not everyone has to engineer. That not everyone has to engineer something.
Yeah. To me, I think the most important courses that need to be emphasized right now are kind of like a workshop course for people to know how they can make any kind of repairs. Mm-hmm. An automotive repair course.
Shop classes need to be emphasized again.
To be emphasized heavily. Because I'll be honest, I'm not a handyman at all. Like, if my sink breaks tonight, the most I'm going to do is just try to twist that pipe until it's tight again. Mm-hmm. Or I'm going to shut my water main off and put a bucket underneath it and call my dad and be like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Right.
So shop classes need to be emphasized more. And then home economics classes need to be
absolutely
emphasized. Like cooking and sewing and basic cleaning.
Think about how many people our age that don't know how to do fucking laundry.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to admit, up until my wife and I started living together, I didn't do laundry. I hadn't done laundry my whole life. Mm-hmm. Somebody has always done my laundry for me. Yeah, and now she does my laundry for me.
Yeah, that's how mine is too.
But I can do a load of laundry if she's not around.
Exactly. Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I will. Let's put that. Let's put that disclaimer in there.
Let me be clear, Skyler.
Yeah. But I'm capable of doing it. She taught me how to do laundry.
Yeah.
It's not her responsibility to teach me how to do laundry. It starts at home, but let's just focus in on high school because I think this is the most relevant time period in relation to what we're discussing.
With what we're discussing right now, I think those are the most influential times in a growing adult's life or adolescent's life, whatever you want to say.
At least let's say 8th grade through your senior year of high school.
Especially because at this where we are at as a society, at 18 years old, you're expected to know all of this, plus, what you want to do for the rest of your life.
That is one of the trends that I think needs to 100% be either restructured or totally removed. The amount of pressure that's put on, that time frame, 8th grade through high school age kids, where you have to go to college, you have to know what when you become a high school student, you're given an ultimatum basically day one.
Yeah.
Structure your classes to get this kind of career, which you should know that's the career that you want today. This is what you have to do. This is the roadmap to get there. And here is this ultimatum: you either do it or you cannot be successful in life. Mm-hmm. And I think that you can't get any closer than not only mediocrity but ridiculousness. When I was a freshman in high school, let's go back in time. When I was an elementary school student, I wanted to be a fucking marine biologist. Mm-hmm. I wanted to live my life on the fucking ocean. I never wanted to leave it. That's all I wanted to do. That changes. We don't have any oceans here. We've got oceans of corn.
I was the same way, and I'm terrified of the ocean.
Really?
By the time I was like 14 or 15, I was like, dude, I ain't going in that big ass pool.
You can
There's
you can fuck off, deep end.
There's some shit in there that would eat me in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. So
you'd be a snack. Not only do you look like a snack, but you'd be a snack. But
that makes me feel good about myself.
Thank you. I already complimented your beard. Now I'm complimenting the rest of you. This motherfucker worked out at the gym yesterday.
Yeah, my legs hurt real bad.
His legs hurt real bad. Not from the gym, from what him and I did earlier.
My butt hurts real bad from earlier.
my glutes. My glutes.
That's my fanny.
My fanny. But so I still have a very devout love for the ocean. I would literally just lay on the beach and like a fucking like a starfish if I could and just take in nutrients through osmosis, but I can't. But everyone's goals, everyone's morals, we all change, especially in that finite amount of time.
Well, not even just based off of your decisions. Things happen that you have to change. Me, for example, my freshman year, I was asked, what do you want to do? So which degree are you going for? Are you going for, this extra one with pre-college courses, honors degree?
Core 40 with
Core 40?
Distinction.
And I'm like, I'm just going for Core 40 because I'm going to the Marine Corps. That's what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And then senior year happens. I'm diagnosed with epilepsy. I'm no longer eligible for the military.
Right.
And it's like, oh, shit. What do I do now?
What?
And they're like, well, you better go to college and figure out what you want to do. And it's like, wait, in like 3 months?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Get on the train, boy. It's leaving.
Yeah, that's... So, not even based off of my decision, my life had to change. And I'm sure several other people's have in the education system.
My plan was the military.
Yeah.
I had prepared my entire life to join the military.
Like, my dad was a Marine. My uncle was a Marine. Unfortunately, my grandfather had health problems, but he couldn't join the military. But, several members of my family were all in the Marine Corps. So I was like, all right, I'm going to join the Marine Corps, and then, I'm going to make a career out of it. If I do well enough, I'm going for SEAL. I'm going Navy SEAL. Even though I'm terrified of the ocean. At least there will be some other guys.
I'm going to fuck that water up.
At least there will be some other guys around me that the shark can eat.
Right.
But, those kind of things happen, but yet the kids that are being brought up in that system aren't taught the basic life skills that if their plans do change or, God forbid, their plans just don't work out for them.
Well, we as a species are already predisposed to view change very negatively.
Yeah.
We're not big fans of change.
Yeah.
We like our P's and Q's exactly the way that the P's and Q's were the day before.
I dotted my I and crossed my T right there. Why is it over there now?
Right. We like things the way that they are, and we like them to stay the way that they are. And, that's very relevant to our political climate right now. And I don't necessarily want to debate that or get into that today, but it's sad. It really is, especially, I'm a parent now, and I reflect on just high school, and I've had people that, like my parents' age people say, well, you didn't enjoy high school? There's a lot of high school that I enjoyed. What I didn't enjoy was going 4 years, having crippling anxiety and not realizing it, and not having anyone else be educated enough to pick up on it and get me some help. I didn't enjoy incompetent educators that were literally there just to collect a paycheck. I did not enjoy some of those incompetent educators going out of their way to make sure that I failed because I was inconveniencing them because they had to work a little bit harder for me to learn. Mm-hmm. And I think about our children are going to have to go through that.
Yep.
And that is unacceptable to me.
Especially if you go through a public school system. Whereas your other option is then go through a private school system.
Or homeschooling, which is getting a lot more popular here recently, but not for the reasons that it should.
But also, it's difficult for homeschool
because you don't get the social interaction.
You don't get the social interaction, but also, let's say you come from a 2-income household. All of a sudden, more than likely, you're losing one income completely.
Absolutely.
And not a lot of families can survive or be sustained on a 1-income basis. Mm-hmm. I know, my upbringing, had I been homeschooled, money would have been pretty tight in general. Well,
my upbringing, money was tight in a pretty, above middle class income, and it was still pretty tight.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm in the same boat. My dad worked factories.
Shit is expensive. It is not fucking cheap to live.
Cost of living is always just increasing. It never goes down. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but homeschooling is becoming more prevalent and popular. Like I said, private schooling is the other option, but then you're paying
college level tuition for 14-year-old kids.
Yeah,
which is also ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. To me, school is one of, and I've said this before, is one of the biggest scams in the country.
Especially college.
Like post-secondary schools are always the biggest because, I went to Purdue. It's a Big Ten school here in West Lafayette, and my parents helped pay for it with my loans on top of it, and I didn't attend class literally 3/4 of my time, and I was still granted passing grades. I can't tell you a thing I learned at that college at all.
Totally believable.
I'm giving a piece of paper that says I'm qualified to do some jobs, but yet I guarantee you if I went into a classroom right now, I wouldn't know how to operate it. I wouldn't know how to handle certain situations of dealing with students.
But I think there is an upside to that. You would not necessarily follow the status quo. And I'm really glad that you brought this up because Clint says, I don't even have books. Everything is module-based online. Also, Ivy Tech spends hundreds of thousands on trainers that literally teach you nothing that you would do in the field related to anything you would be doing. Mm-hmm. It irritates me, so I go out of my way to bring in real-world, tangible objects to touch and troubleshoot. Yeah. He does a lot of preparation for industrial manufacturing, CNC. He does a lot of basically the shop class stuff that's totally removed from high school curriculums now. That's what he's teaching to adults.
Yeah.
So it's just, you've got it right here in the chat. We've got an educator saying, "Yeah, this is just as fucked up as you're describing it." Mm-hmm. So it's just sad, and I feel
it's not even just sad; it's scary because I'm not even a parent yet, but I know I don't want that for my future children.
Right.
And you are a parent, and you are going to have to. I'm not sure how old your kids are.
She's almost 3.
So here in the next couple of years, your child will probably be entering the public school system.
Yeah, we're not going to send her a private school.
So it's just like you're going to start to experience that world of, either lackadaisical educators that are literally going out of their way to just piss off students
and collect a paycheck.
Yeah,
and they get away with it. Mm-hmm. And then you have people like myself and you, people like us that have an issue with modern education, and I've been pretty bold in my statement of I think teachers get paid too much. And if you go in the backlog, like my first, I don't remember if it was my first episode or the second time that I was on this show, but I go pretty in detail why I feel that way. And then, about 10 episodes ago, you and I talked about the whole sabbatical thing, about how I think that is total bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead and take a year-long paid vacation. Wonder why I don't get that, wonder why more industries don't get that. Think about what, in all of the career fields that you've worked, think about what it would do for you as far as your mental health, your physical health, your home life. If you could just say, all right, I scheduled my sabbatical. January 1, I start, and I'll be back January 1 of the next year to continue working, and you get paid the whole time. Think about how beneficial that would be to you. Obviously, it's a lot of dead money, and it's not feasible for every industry to do it. We don't live in communist utopia, but we don't have enough time at home.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I personally think the full-time work schedule should be 32 hours a week.
You're thinking more of the European model?
Yeah, particularly France, I think. Is
Yeah,
the
they just
one.
went to the 32-hour work week not long ago.
Because, I listen to my dad has been a factory worker my whole life. And, he's putting in 6 days a week, 10-hour days. So he's working
60 hours a
almost
week.
60 hours a week. Where my mom is a receptionist at a doctor's office who still puts in 50-plus hours a week. It's like, why do these people need to be there so long?
Right.
Like, because, my dad, he's in the car manufacturing business, his place you used to work at. You're going to tell me that you guys are selling all these cars? I'm sorry, I worked upstairs at that place for a brief time. You make up less than 4% of the active car market.
Right.
There's no way that all of these cars get sold.
Yeah, they like to advertise that every car that is being manufactured, so one every minute, we'll say, is sold the minute it rolls off the line. And, I'm obviously not a higher-up member of that organization. I'm not even an employee of that organization anymore, but I'm not an accountant, so I can't say financially, I'm not a bean counter, so I can't say what is bought and paid for and what's not. But I can say that Monday through Friday, I drive right by Bob Orman Subaru, and I see a lot of cars sitting on that lot. And don't get us wrong, folks. We're not sitting here attacking Subaru. We're just saying, as far as our modern workforce goes, there is no reason that we don't need. I worked so this is my 9th day in a row working, because I worked all day Saturday and all day Sunday. That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
That is basically 48 hours that I missed out spending with my kid and my wife. Or hey man, let's go see a movie at noon. Sorry, I'm at work. Can't. It's unnecessary.
And that's why I feel like we've been seeing a rise in mental health issues in the past 5 years, if even that. They're becoming more and more prevalent and more talked about. And, you hear some of the older people like, oh, well, your generation is just lazy. And it's like, I don't know if that's really the case.
It's not. It's absolutely not.
I just find it unnecessary for us to be at a job for over 40 hours. Well, I can see 40-hour work week. I could see that. Whereas, do I still want that? No. But when you're at a place more than they described it at Subaru when I worked there as you will literally see these people more than you see your family.
Absolutely.
Why is
totally
that a
true.
thing?
Yep.
That should not be how you try to convince people to work at a place of employment. Because I don't want to see these people more than I see the people I actually give a shit about.
Right. And people, there's a lot of anti-union sentiment in this country right now. Union membership is the lowest that it's been since basically the beginning of unions. Unions fought for the 8-hour workday. You wouldn't have an 8-hour workday if it wasn't for, particularly mining unions, the textile industry unions, predominantly women, making up those unions in that industry at the time. We wouldn't have any of that shit. So let's kind of flip the script a little bit and say, if we didn't have any of that, I'm a member of a union, I buy into it, to most of it. We'd be complaining about a 70 or 80-hour work week right now.
Exactly.
Instead of a 40-hour work week. Now, that doesn't make the 40-hour work week correct, and I'm not saying it's totally wrong, but there's no reason that you should start working at 4 a.m. in the morning and then be back at work at 4 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. You don't need, so those like motivational images with a dumb caption, like have an image, insert any caption right there. You've got a motivational picture, that it's that specific font at a certain font size. It's bullshit. But there's one that circulates around a lot that's any image, but the caption is, "You're not born to just pay bills and die." And there is nothing truer than that right now. Mm-hmm. Like, Blaine brings up, Nate or Blaine, whoever typed this up, says, what about 20-hour, better-paid work weeks, considering in 10 years a majority of jobs will be filled by robots? And I don't know that that's entirely true because there's a lot of industries that can't be totally automated. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want food manufacturing plants to be totally automated because...
Well, even if you have these jobs where they're like robotic, you have to have workers to control these robots.
Nothing can be truly 100% automated.
I think people overestimate the ability of robotics
or mechanical workforce.
Manufacturing. Like, we both have been at Subaru. Mm-hmm. I worked on the final line in particular, and they have robotics on that line. They need to be operated because those things mess up.
Yeah.
Almost 50% of the time.
Yeah, they have to be maintained.
Now, that requires special training, and that opens up new jobs and new opportunities for people.
Right.
As far as the 20-hour work week, I honestly don't know if that would even be feasible. I mean, you could say it for, like, better pay for... But then I think you go to kind of like those people at McDonald's that are begging for $15 an hour.
Here's the thing, though. Say you take my job. I work a 40-plus hour work week. I'm an electrician. The amount of things that I am expected to do on a day-to-day basis is quite a bit. I have a pretty heavy workload day-to-day, and it's not always the same. But if I only had 20 hours a week to get my workload done right now, wouldn't get done. Your high-rise apartment buildings wouldn't get built. Your roads wouldn't get repaired. It's just it's not enough. There's a happy medium somewhere, and not only have we not approached it, because especially in the country right now, people say, "Well, we don't need to copy everything Europe does," and I would agree with that on a lot of things.
I agree with that.
They're not utopia any more than we are. They've got some things right. We've got some things right. Everybody's kind of got their niche of stuff that they figured out, and everyone just wants to point and say, well, we're not going to do it that way. Mm-hmm. We don't want to be the second ones to the party is the way that we don't want to be the last guy to the party. But we also basically just don't want to go to the party too. Well, if I got to be the last one there, I just won't go. But I really want to go, but I don't want to go. But there's certain things that you just cannot get done in 20 hours.
Yeah.
So let's say like emergency responders. So if you take all of the ambulance services and all the hospitals in America and you break it up where every person that works in that business has a 20-hour work week, you would have to split it up where there is 24-hour-a-day coverage just like there is right now, but you would have a lot more people involved.
Probably double the people,
You would
not more.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously just us pulling numbers out. But you would. I don't know that it would be feasible, just because of the logistics involved. And we got in the chat, or what about universal basic income? I don't like that.
No, me either.
I want as few people in existence to tell me what I can and cannot have as possible.
I think if you go to like a universal basic income, it leads to an idea that skill sets are all the same when they're not.
Right.
Now, I do think that there should be a standard of living that everyone should have.
Absolutely.
And this kind of goes back to the people at McDonald's working there. And, let's say they don't have the same opportunities as someone to be able to get like a college degree or something. And they're stuck working at McDonald's.
Okay.
But their wage doesn't allow them to live. Do I agree that the minimum wage is too little in the country? To me, I say yes. Because if you look at the cost of living, the minimum wage compared to the 1970s is like, I want to say it was like 9% lower today than what it was back then.
Okay.
So I just feel like that correlation is wrong. Minimum wage needs to increase with the cost of living increases.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think that needs to be fixed. But as far as a universal basic income, that to me just screams, we are not caring about what your skill set is. You are just going to get this amount of money because we said so.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll be honest, I don't want to make the same amount of money as a heart surgeon. A heart surgeon should be paid more than me.
Well, it's funny, too, because I always say the joke, if you and I are both in medical school, I graduate top of the class, you graduate bottom of the class. At the end of the day, what are we both?
Yeah, you're both doctors.
We're both doctors. So do you want, when you go to the hospital, are you seeking care from the best physician that you can possibly find, or are you seeking care from the Jim, the janitor? Mm-hmm. They make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, that's a really bad example, and we could really break it down and get more in depth with it. I don't know. It's a tough subject because Matt and I aren't,
we aren't the
economists.
most liberal people either. We're both pretty old-fashioned in belief systems because I know for a fact I am, at least. I'm pretty conservative in my ways.
And I kind of look at myself as the swirling vortex of, well, on this issue, I'm very conservative. On the next issue, I'm very liberal. Do I think that we should work ourselves to death for corporations? No. That's a liberal ideal, that you should work as little as possible. Mm-hmm. Do I think that people should not have to work at all? Would I love to not go to work? Absolutely. People should work for something.
Yeah.
Whether it's being self-sufficient and working to feed and take care of your own family. Being alive right now is just tough. Because the moment that you're born, you have so many expectations from literally everyone, from a society level and culture level all the way down to where you're at as an infant. Yep. Your whole life is already planned out for you. Mm-hmm.
Expectations.
Whether you're man, woman, robot, fucking purebred dog, it doesn't matter. The moment you exist, your whole life is planned out for you. We're at, let's say, 13th or 14th century woman levels just across the board because of the amount of expectations that we have. Well, when you turn 12, I'm going to marry you off to this dude over here because he's going to give me 10 goats.
Yep.
I fucking love goats.
Give me good cheese and milk.
I fucking love goats, man.
These ones, if you jump at them, they fall over.
They fall over, and then I can do whatever I want to them. But I mean, and I make jokes about it, but it's just fucking our political and social and economical climate right now across the world is just pathetic. I saw an article today that there's hundreds of Christians that were just killed in Africa just for being Christian. You know, we don't worry about gun control in Africa, but we worry about it here. We condemn the people that have guns here, but we don't condemn the Africans.
I noticed a lot to the shooting that happened
in New Zealand.
In New Zealand at the mosque. I've been hearing a lot about that on the news, about Trump's response to that and like everything. And it's, again, going to like you just mentioned gun control in Africa. It's the top story for that day, I think, was Kylie Jenner doing something. And
well,
the
Jenners are denouncing firearms. They're wanting to push for extreme gun control now, which is fine. You know, as a avid gun owner and supporter of every person on this planet should have a right to choose what they do and what they don't do on a daily basis and what they own and what they don't own. Now, obviously, I'm not talking about nukes and fucking tanks, folks, because someone's going to listen to the show and be like, well, this fucking guy thinks we should have nukes. No one should have nukes. You know who should have nukes? Every single country on this earth should supply all of their energy nuclear.
I agree with that.
They have now figured out how to design and implement and control fuel rods, so nuclear material, radioactive material, that doesn't degenerate, that doesn't get hot, doesn't fucking melt down.
We don't have like another 3 Mile Island.
Yes, or Chernobyl. Yeah. You know, we have the fucking technology, but we're still buying fucking coal. Let's keep rolling that coal. Fuck them. Wind energy, totally useless.
Yeah.
Solar energy, not feasible because it's expensive. Elon Musk is designing all this cool shit. Cool. Elon's doing some good stuff for humanity. The man can't do it all by himself, and it's not feasible to buy 90% of the shit that he makes.
Yeah.
Sorry. We figured out nuclear a long time ago, and we've made it better. Fucking use it. Don't be afraid of it.
That goes back to the economic issue, though, of big corporations.
Absolutely. There's no incentive to change because if you change, you stop making money.
Exactly. And then that goes back to what we mentioned earlier. We as a human species don't like change.
We don't fucking like it. We want it. We cry for it. But when it's right there on the edge of, man, we could really do something here, we're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and pump the brakes on this.
We just came full circle accidentally.
Yeah, we did.
All right. We had some lighter-hearted topics.
So I got home. I got home from work today. I stopped by Podcastrophe HQ, picked up a couple things to get prepared for this stream here. And I just happened to check on my fish tank. I don't know how to flip this camera around and view my fish tank. Otherwise, I would show the live stream my fish tank. That's kind of pathetic right now. But I got a fish. It's supposed to be the centerpiece fish in my tank. He's a little baby fish. He was going to grow big and strong and beautiful. And last night when I went to bed, he was fine. This morning when I got up and checked on him, he was fine. I got some snails in my tank. They're cleaning. They're zooming around. There's a snail moving real fast close to the glass right now that I wish I could show. And
he is trucking. He's looking across.
They move real quick, dude. The snails in this tank are probably one of my favorite things to watch. Like those catfish that are zooming around all over the tank right now. They're really fun to watch. But those fucking snails do some cool shit. They try and climb plants that they can't climb, and then they fall, and then they roll around, and it's comical. But my big meaty beefy boy, I got a big black, either mystery or narite snail. I don't know which one it is, but he's cool. I get home from work, and the fucker's got my fish in his mouth. He's fucking chomping him. He's dead. I mean, he's eating my fish. So I'm a little bit perturbed.
A good old rainbow shark. Buddy.
My rainbow shark.
Not my rainbow
Not my rainbow shark! God damn it. But, you know, obviously he was struggling somehow. Otherwise, the snail wouldn't have got him. So it's a fucking circle of life. Lion King taught us about it a long time ago.
Yep.
Fucking heritage.
And good old Lion King will be coming out
God.
this July. This
Dude.
comes out on my wife's birthday, so she's like, "You're gonna take me to go see that?" I'm like, "Okay."
Do we want to talk about live action Disney real quick? Because I kind of want to.
I want to talk about a live action movie that's coming out soon, but it's not a Disney one.
Okay, hit me.
Have you seen the reviews for Shazam?
No, well, I've seen one review for Shazam.
Apparently, it is one of the best, not just DC movies, superhero movies ever.
I can believe that.
The reviews I've seen, they're like, yeah, it's better than any Marvel movies come out, which is, to me, I'm a bit amazed by that because critics seem to love Marvel movies.
Well, critics are incentivized to love Marvel movies.
Well,
I think
Disney owns all of entertainment now, pretty much.
right.
So,
Well, yeah. I mean,
It literally-
the Fox deal did get 100% confirmed today.
I mean, Blaine here posted a meme earlier. Says he's just Amazon and what other one away from owning the Infinity Gauntlet of entertainment.
Wasn't it Amazon and Google?
Yeah, Amazon and Google. I mean, you might be able to add Pornhub to that too.
Maybe
Perhaps.
Pornhub's going to be the one to challenge them. Pornhub buys the rights to Mickey Mouse.
Pornhub's v Disney.
Oh shit.
But yeah, no, the reviews for Shazam, great. They say it is heartfelt, terrifying at times. Which
I like that.
They got the guy from The Conjuring to direct it. So
Oh, that's right. That's right.
when he was announced to be the director, they're like, "Wait, isn't that the horror film guy?"
Isn't his name like fucking John? It's not John Woo, but it's something like that.
It's something like that.
Because didn't he do one of the Fast and the Furious movies too?
I don't think so. He might. I don't remember. I just know they were like, yeah, this is the guy that did I think it was The Conjuring 2 and Annabelle Origin or something, whatever it was called. But again, they released a new trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Looks fantastic.
I haven't watched the new trailer yet. I just saw kind of a still image of Shazam, like post Shazam or pre Shazam and post Shazam. Like it's him as a kid on top and him as Shazam on the bottom, which was really the art was really really cool.
Yeah.
I've been excited from it, or I've been excited for it from the get go. From the moment that we got that new trailer, I got even more hyped for it when I saw all the people condemning and trying to ruin Captain Marvel before it even hit theaters, and you had
That's the one I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen Captain Marvel.
It's good. There's a lot of people that I know that didn't like it. I think that they're so caught up on movies like Black Panther that now they're not going to like movies like Captain Marvel.
I'd like to see it, but then part of me is also just like, I kind of just want to save my money and wait till Shazam comes out to watch that one.
Or you just go see both of them.
I could, but I'm also kind of broke right
No,
now.
I get it, dude. I get it. I totally get it. I'm definitely going to see it. I never thought that... I wasn't one of those people that was like, yeah, Shazam and Captain Marvel are going to compete in the box office. You and I have said it for a long time, pretty much as long as we've known each other, that eventually DC is going to get it right. Mm-hmm. And when they get it right, it's going to be next level.
With these solo movies, starting with Wonder Woman, it really seems like they've kind of found their footing. I loved Aquaman.
I still haven't seen it.
Like, to me, Aquaman bought 150% into their cheesy moments, which made it so
which
much
works
better.
for some people.
Yeah, which made it so much better. And I mean, I know our good old friend Nate here didn't like it too much.
He didn't care for it.
But
We still like him though.
To me, Aquaman is right up there with Wonder Woman.
All the reviews that I read, other than Nate's, said pretty much verbatim that it's every bit as good, if not better, than Wonder Woman.
Yeah, like the final fight scene is so much better than Wonder Woman's final fight scene. That was the only issue with Wonder Woman that I had, was the final fight.
The Ares fight was a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, but
you're fighting the God of War. It should be a little bit more impressive.
Yeah, when it comes to Aquaman, that final fight is just even the whole final sequence in general, from that to that, is amazing. So great. But as Shazam, I started off on the dude. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Billy and
Batson.
Any of it. Like the best part Shazam ever had to me was an Injustice one where he gets murdered by Superman.
Right.
And then
I always liked Shazam as a kid because he was one of the few people that could challenge Superman, and I always thought that was really cool because I didn't like Superman. I still don't.
I love Superman.
Fuck
obviously. So, and I don't know, maybe like that was part of my issue, but I just remember as a kid that episode of Justice League Unlimited, and how he was like, "Lex Luthor's a good guy," and he's constantly, and I was like, "Dude, fuck this naive little kid."
Yeah.
So pretty much ever since then, I've not liked Shazam, but I've become more and more hyped for this movie as it's getting closer, and I feel like their trailers are finally
they're great.
doing the right thing. Whereas like in Batman v Superman, I have complained so much about them. They showed their whole hand.
Well, I mean that's modern cinema in a nutshell right
But
now.
I feel
Anyway,
like Shazam isn't doing that.
no, they're not.
Shazam hasn't really. They've showed the villain twice in the trailers, and it's just a quick introduction fight scene where Shazam gets his ass beat.
Right.
Like, obviously, we know what's going to happen in the end.
Right. At least we think we know.
Yeah, but they haven't shown the big, like in Batman v Superman. Why are we showing Doomsday?
Right.
Dragon Ball Super Broly. Why are we showing Gogeta?
Yeah.
Like, these things should be left for the people that go see the film, like pay their money, and then they get that surprise.
Here's the problem, though, for a lot of people. You know us as America specifically. America. We want everything yesterday.
Instant gratification.
We want instant gratification. So, as a Dragon Ball fan, whether you like Super or not, you get a little bit of gratification because you're seeing Goku and Vegeta and the crew again. And then it's like, okay, now we get Broly. A little bit more gratification. What else we gonna get?
Vegeta.
I better get Vegito or Gogeta. I better get one of them. Oh, there's Gogeta. All right, I'm satisfied. I'll go see it now.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't have showed it, people would have not went and saw. Dragon Ball Super Broly is not really a good example because we were going to go see that no matter what.
Yeah.
But something like, imagine them doing like a Superman movie, and the whole trailer you never see Superman. He's not in it. There's a lot of people that be like, well, where the fuck's Superman at? Is this even about Superman?
Well, I mean, I remember when I went and saw The Dark Knight Rises. They dropped the teaser for Man of Steel.
Right.
And the teaser was, all it was the little kid, and it had him doing the pose with the red cape flapping.
Right.
And people got so excited when they just saw that little scene. And then you just heard a cloud, like,
Him
couldn't even
fucking
see
breaking the
him,
sound
really.
barrier.
Like, it was just like a line going through clouds, and people were so excited, and then they fucked up that whole movie.
It wasn't that bad.
It
wasn't bad. We don't need. We're
won't
gonna
go
have
into
the
that.
we're gonna have the conversation
We
again.
won't go into that. But anyway, I'm getting more and more hyped for Shazam, and the more hyped I'm getting for it, the happier I keep getting because I am such a big DC fan.
Well, and to go along with Shazam, I'm also equally as excited. We're getting into blockbuster season, so it's now springtime. Captain Marvel kind of kicked everything off.
Yeah.
We've got Shazam coming up. We've got Avengers Endgame coming up, which
I still need to get caught up on all those Avengers movies.
just watch
I am so
Infinity War,
excited.
man.
I've seen it.
Okay.
I saw Infinity War, thought it was by far the best Avengers universe movie.
Well, it's the most ambitious movie ever made. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Just from the
Well,
casting.
you're bringing in a decade's worth of work, and if you don't knock it out of the park,
Oh, you're done. You're done,
like
Zo.
that movie had to be a home run. Otherwise, it was going to be a failure.
Oh, yeah.
And it was more than a home run. That was a grand slam,
well,
brother.
let's look at it, brother. Let's look at it from Endgame's perspective. Mm-hmm. Endgame has to top Infinity War.
Now, let me ask you this. How do you think Endgame is going to end? I want to get your theory because I really think, I'm like, how do you do this without it kind of being cliche and a disappointment?
Okay, let me wrap up the DC real quick, and then I'll jump into that. So, James Gunn was announced as being rehired by Disney. Let's do a silent applause for that for sure, because there's a lot of us that called that from the get-go. And
it's the right decision.
And as a consumer of entertainment, I feel that for once, my wishes have been my wishes have been granted, and that's a little bit of a prelude to something I'm gonna bring up in a minute. But they made the right move.
Yeah.
On the same hand, Warner Brothers and DC are still paying James Gunn to make Suicide Squad, which we learned this week is not Suicide Squad 2. It's a total reboot of the franchise. So when we saw the casting of Idris Elba as Deadshot instead of Will Smith due to scheduling conflicts, I don't think it'll be as good because I think Will Smith's your guy now.
I haven't seen the first Suicide Squad.
You need to watch it.
But from all the people that I've talked to that have seen it, he carried the movie.
Absolutely.
So, as much as people love Idris Elba, I don't know how they're gonna get over not having Will Smith.
It's gonna be weird, and you know, Margot Robbie's doing the whole Birds of Prey thing, so no one really knows if she's confirmed or not for this movie. You know, I saw a meme or kind of a blog post earlier that was, you know, Warner Brothers DC makes this power play where they reboot the entire franchise after one movie just so they can get over Jared Leto as the Joker, which
we're getting a Joker movie too.
Right. So, I mean, there's so much stuff going on, but big win for fans of James Gunn and just good people. The guy deserved a second shot. He apologized for what he did a long time ago. So now we're going to get Guardians 3 the way that it needs to be, and we're going to get fucking Suicide Squad the way that it needs to be.
I have faith that he will make that movie good.
Oh, he absolutely. Look what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Who fucking cared about the Guardians of the Galaxy before James Gunn?
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is one of Marvel's best.
It is the best one, in my opinion. It is 100% the best one.
I love the Winter Soldier.
Oh, it's good too. Man, it's so good.
I love the Winter Soldier. But to me, Guardians, like, I was one of those people that was like, I'm not watching this knockoff of The Watchmen.
Right.
And then I watched it, and I was like, this is completely different, and I love every bit of it.
It's like The Watchmen meets Star Wars and Scooby-Doo, and it's so fucking cool. But so DC, they're hitting it out of the park with Shazam from what you said, reviews people have written or said. I'm excited to see it. You're excited to see it. The entire fan base is excited to see it. They're a good group of people. You know, they shut down the people trying to ruin Captain Marvel for us Marvel fans. So I really appreciated that. I think hand in hand with Marvel, they figured out how to cast people in the right roles. Mm-hmm. Maybe not pay them long enough to keep them. Looking at you, Ben Affleck. Batfleck, my favorite Batman.
Was that the thing, like the money dispute?
I don't think it was money dispute, but I think it was just there was so much that went wrong into that. I don't know all the details. I don't think anyone really knows all the details.
That's what my thing was. I was like, by far, he's been the best Batman.
Absolutely.
And again, we're not going to get into the whole DC discussion.
Nope.
But
so
the movies he was in were so poorly handled.
Yep.
That I just don't know how.
Well,
this kind of goes to my DC thing.
What's DC's track record?
Why are we rebooting right now? Why aren't we waiting a couple years?
Because that's DC's track record. You don't like a plot line that you started in 5 issues of comics ago. Well, we're going to go 5 more issues, and then we're going to start all over again because we're not happy with it. That's what DC does. Warner Brothers is fitting the bill. They just want to make people happy. They just want to keep getting a paycheck. So, but I want everyone to go see Shazam. I want to see this movie succeed. There's no reason that DC can't share the market with Marvel. Mm-mm. And if we shit on it right out of the gate, like we have done with every other DC film, I'm looking at you, Justice League. Not as bad as everyone said it was.
No, it's not.
Let's give it a chance. there's a lot of cool stuff being talked about for the Suicide Squad reboot that I want to see. So, but back to Endgame. I said, so Blaine and I and the network, I'm just going to call it the network because I had this discussion with pretty much everybody more than once. Mm-hmm. We pretty much called Infinity War scene for scene.
Yeah.
From start to finish, we pretty much had it all pegged. There was only a couple things that I was wrong on.
For me, not seeing all of the movies, like, I could kind of break it down where I thought it was going to end up going the entire time.
So, Marvel and Disney does their infamous, bamboozling, where you see Hulk and Earth on the trailers.
Which they confirmed they're doing with Endgame also. They're fucking with the trailers.
They're doing some bamboozling. You never see Hulk on Earth. My theories, before I obviously realized that, was that, long story short, Black Widow was going to die after the Hulk got his ass kicked by Thanos, and that's what brought the Hulk back. Mm-hmm. And, that's how they started to actually challenge Thanos. We didn't get that. So everyone, if you're a fan of the series or of the characters, everyone is all, paranoid right now. Is my character going to survive? Blah, 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 blah. I think at least 3 of them are going to die right out of the gate. I think Black Widow's going to die, which is going to bring Hulk back because Tony and Natasha are the only 2 people that give a shit about Banner. Maybe Thor, but... Thor's dealing with some shit. He's had the hardest life of everybody. All of his fucking people are dead. Well, half of his population are dead.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens there. So I think Black Widow is a definite no-go. She's done. Scarlett Johansson's getting expensive too at this point. I think you really have to break down what these people are getting paid.
You look at your main
You've got.
I don't even want to call her like one of your main 3, but she's one of your originals.
She's in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
She has to be.
But so Chris Evans, this is his last movie.
Okay, so here's what I was going to get at. We know that Chris Evans is done. Mm-hmm. We don't know that he's totally done. He's done making Captain America movies.
Yeah.
He's not done making cameos. That's never been confirmed. Mm-hmm. So we're not 100% sure that Cap's going to die. So my theory is kind of split in half. I think you have to kill one of them. You have to either take Tony out or you have to take Chris Evans out.
Yeah, one of those 2 have to die in this film.
Monetarily, one of them has to go. So let's go path 1. You lose Tony. Tony sacrifices himself for Cap so Cap can survive. Tony has been the most selfish person from movie number 1 all the way to where we're at right now. Thematically and plot-wise, it would make the most sense if Tony dies. But he doesn't just die. He's got to sacrifice himself for the team, which he's done. He was willing to do in Avengers. I
don't know if it's for the team. I would say it has to be for Cap.
That's what I mean. It's got to be for Cap. With everything that happened in Civil War, it's got to be for Cap. Mm-hmm. Or for Banner. I could see that too.
Or Bucky.
Or Bucky.
See baby Bucky.
Yep. So you've got some good possibilities there. From the Captain America side, he's either got to sacrifice himself for Bucky. He's got to do it for Tony. Or he has to challenge... I don't know what that sound is. I don't know if that was my phone or what it was.
Are we plugged in?
Yeah, we should be.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're
plugged
make sure
in.
we're not about to die on battery.
Oh, it was my phone. But it's got to be Cap's got to sacrifice himself for somebody, and if he's going to do it, it just did it again. What is that sound?
Somebody messaging you?
I don't know.
That sounds like the Facebook Messenger.
Yeah,
Someone's
they're
messaging
probably
on Facebook.
Yep, and it's popping up on my desktop. Anyway, so if Cap's got to go, I want to see him challenge Thanos before he goes. Mm-hmm. We kind of got that. Well,
in the first one, a little bit. They teased it.
That was Thanos crushing down the fist, Cap stopping it and being like, and then just fucking hitting him with the non-gauntlet fist and just obliterating him. Thanos don't have the gauntlet no more. So,
well,
he's got the gauntlet.
I was about to say, we don't technically know where the gauntlet is.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, you got to do something like that. I think this is what I've said for a long time. This was prior to Captain Marvel basically being where she's at right now in the mythos. We're starting basically Generation 2 of Marvel movies now. They've officially announced today that Episode 1, I'm going to call it, of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to be labeled as the Infinity Series. That's what they're calling it. Disney's calling it anyway.
And the fact that this is all continuing is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this will be here for the next 20 years, guaranteed.
If it's handled correctly still.
Absolutely.
If it's handled how it's been handled,
I think
it will continue.
I think you got to have, moving forward, you got to have Thor lead the team.
See, I don't see how he's not. I now get this. I haven't seen Captain Marvel yet, but he is the strongest.
I would put him on par with Captain Marvel at this point, but
Again, I haven't seen it.
yeah.
But, I mean,
She's supposed to be the strongest, but
by the end of Infinity War, it's not a contest.
no, he had fucking Stormbreaker, man.
Yeah, like, there's no contest of... Thor could have killed Thanos.
All he had to do was aim for the head.
Yeah. So...
But I think you have to move forward with Thor leading the team. I think you really need to emphasize if Cap's going to go, you either have to have Bucky or Falcon take over as Captain America because they've both played that role in the past. Mm-hmm. I would like to see Bucky do it.
That's where
I think Captain Falcon could also be cool, Falco punching people. God, that was a bad joke. You didn't even giggle. I should crawl in that fireplace and let you start.
I wish we could edit it out right now.
I wish I could edit me out of this podcast. But I think whatever direction they decide to go with Captain America moving forward, if he does perish in this film, I think either way is not a bad move. Mm-hmm. Because there's enough there, there's enough fans of the characters that they could put forth some good material. Obviously, they're not going to put forth junk. Yeah. So I would like to see Bucky do it. Especially, I really like Sebastian Stan. So in the Winter Soldier's one of my favorite characters. I want his fucking arm. I want the metal arm.
It'd be cool.
It'd be real fucking cool, wouldn't it? Yeah. I think
hope it's just not the one I jerk off with. That'd be terrible.
I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. Just get you a fucking fleshlight. Anyway, yeah. I think Vision is one that a lot of people don't talk about right now.
I don't even think he's dead.
I don't think he's dead either. Or if he is dead, he will be the first one resurrected.
See, they emphasize that the stone might not be all of him.
Right.
There. So I'm thinking, especially with, I can't ever remember her name, but...
Suri?
Yes. When she was messing with him, did she get enough down to maybe just transplant him into a new body? Mm-hmm. So,
or just power the body that he's in right now.
So I'm thinking he's not dead.
Me too. I think, though, that moving forward with his... I think you have to move on from that character because he's supposed to be uber powerful, and he was totally useless in that last movie. Totally useless.
Yeah.
He was nothing other than a plot point, which really bothered me. The fucker's got an Infinity Stone in him.
Yeah, he got his ass beat by the
children of Thanos.
The goons.
Yeah, by the goons. You got
beat by the goons.
You got fucking squashed by the goon squad.
Him and Scarlet Witch did, and Scarlet Witch is also a badass too. Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing.
I would like to see him and Scarlet Witch kind of ride off into the sunset.
Which they hinted at the last movie
right.
too.
I think plot-wise it only makes sense that that's what you get.
And to me, those are some of the characters that kind of have the least following.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
Although-
not Scarlet Witch, but
Yeah.
definitely Vision.
Although Scarlet Witch, to me, I'm like, dude, she's cool.
She's real fucking cool. There's so much you can do plot-wise with her
Yeah.
moving forward that I think she has to say. Vision, not necessarily so. But what the long-winded point that I'm trying to make is, I think you have to have Thor lead the team. You obviously have to highlight Captain Marvel going forward, regardless of what happens in this film. The Guardians are still going to be kicking it. They're going to be your money makers, at least for quarter one of portion 2 of the roadmap, I'll say. But you have to focus on your characters like your Ant-Man. And I think moving forward, I don't think we ever get a standalone Hulk movie again. I think unless it's
Makes
something
me sad. I love the Incredible Hulk.
well,
one.
but they ruined it with Thor Ragnarok.
I know.
Because they did 90% of the Planet Hulk storyline, which is your big heavy hitter, no pun intended, for Hulk media. Unless they change the plot and they do a Planet Hulk movie, I think they've pretty much written him into the dirt right now. Unless he's a companion character.
He deserves at least one more standalone movie.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to do it, you need to do a Planet Hulk. And you need to do legit Planet Hulk and not just, here's a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I think you have to bring Valkyrie back from Thor Ragnarok and make.
Which we don't know where she's at, because it is confirmed she survived the Thanos attack.
Yep. So, her and Korg both.
Yep.
I think you need to really, really push on her and Hulk's kind of love interest, or maybe just friendship. Whatever you've got working on or working there, you need to keep it moving forward. But you gotta really highlight your Ant-Man and Bucky and Falcon and your more run-of-the-mill dudes.
Mm-hmm. But with this final movie, do you think that works? Or does that overshadow the characters that will be leaving?
Well, I think for this movie, it's anyone that's going to be leaving Swan Song. So if they're going to leave, they're going to do it big. And you got to do it big. Mm-hmm. If Tony dies, they could easily bring him back as, an AI companion like Jarvis, or I can't remember the one that he had after her. Or after Jarvis. But you could easily say, hey, we'll give you fucking $300,000 to record these 10 lines for this movie. Sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Beep, 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 done.
You guys only resurrected my career.
Right. And the same thing with Cap, if Cap survives, maybe Cap goes into retirement. Maybe he hangs the shield up. And just has a normal life. It's totally feasible.
That's what I would like to see for Cap.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see
especially
him
with the
instead-
love interest that he has in Winter Soldier now. Mm-hmm. He's now nailing his sweetheart's granddaughter.
Yeah.
So let's give that guy a normal life.
Yeah. I would really like to see him get the kind of, I'm tired of being a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of having to always,
I'm tired.
Like I just want to rest.
Like
Give him
Thanos.
that.
Thanos
Yeah.
wants to rest.
Like, just give them that. So that's what I hope they do. But yeah, I'm curious on how they're going to do Endgame, because I feel like what we were saying before all this started was, if they don't do Endgame bigger than Infinity War,
It's got to be.
it's going to
can't
be
afford
seen
not to.
as a failure.
Mm-hmm.
And part of me is going, I don't really know how you end it without it being cliche.
Even if it is cliche, I think it's totally acceptable. I think it almost has to be cliche, unless you're doing total change of source material. I think, because there's a lot of characters that we don't know how they're going to play out. Mm-hmm. What's going to happen when all of the Guardians get resurrected? What's going to happen when Gamora gets resurrected? Mm-hmm. What's going to happen with Nebula? There was a leaked movie image 2 days ago or yesterday of Thanos holding Captain Marvel by the throat.
Yeah.
And he's got a weapon that looks pretty similar to Stormbreaker in his hand. It's not, but it looks pretty close. It almost looks like the hammer that Ronan has in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So there's so many unknowns. There's so many characters that are gone. What happens with Spider-Man? We didn't talk about him at all.
Which also, Far From Home is confirmed to be post.
Yeah, it's supposedly minutes after, or the way that I read was minutes after Endgame.
So we'll probably be getting a lot of Iron Man 3 kind of PTSD shit with that movie.
Mm-hmm. You would think, anyway.
I mean, how did you not?
Especially when you're a teenager.
Yeah. I got turned to dust.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, dude. No. Okay, so I knew that shit was coming, and it still almost made me cry when
Yeah,
he was
it
doing.
fucking hit you.
I was like, "Damn, Tom Holland, you are a good fucking actor."
Yeah, you little British son of a
you
bitch.
little British beauty.
The Gamora and Peter Quill stuff really got me. The Star-Lord stuff in Infinity War almost ruined it for me. Because of the scene when he's smacking the fuck out of Thanos' face. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Let him get the glove off. Then you can shoot him.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what happens between Mantis and Drax going forward.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a romance developing there.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Obviously we don't know what's going on with Hank Pym and the Wasp. They're dusted also. So there's so much unknown, but with Chris Hemsworth being your number 3 guy as far as big money contracts goes, I think moving forward, you now make him your showrunner. He's now the leader of your team, and especially if you look at Infinity War, that is 2 characters' movie. It is Thanos' movie and it is Thor's movie.
Yeah.
They are the 2 most important characters in that film.
Yeah.
So,
which is a bit kind of it's pretty crazy that it was a Thor movie because his Ragnarok was so recent.
Mm-hmm. But it made. I mean, thematically, it made sense.
Yeah. No. Exactly.
I loved the way that Infinity War started.
Yeah.
No fucking time elapsed. Like, let's just get into this shit right out of the
Oh,
gate.
you remember that end scene with Thor Ragnarok? Well, this is what happened literally 5 minutes after.
Right.
So
They got fucked up.
yeah, their ship done went bye-bye.
They went down so.
So yeah, I just with Endgame, I think is going to be great. Obviously, I'm going to save up for that. Plenty of other movies coming out. Blockbuster season. Aladdin is coming out.
That was where I was going to go next. I do want to throw this in there real quick. Endgame debuts the weekend of LaFiCon here in Lafayette. So definitely see it. Obviously, I don't think there's any of us that aren't going to go see it. But stop by LaFiCon. We're going to be doing live podcasts and panels, and we're going to be talking about Infinity War or Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, we'll probably all be going opening night to see that one.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I will be this time. Infinity War, I was up in Minnesota when it came out with no friends up there to see it with, and I wasn't driving 6 hours back to Chicago to see it with people I knew. So.
I don't know that I'm going to see it opening night, but I definitely will see it like the first showing that Saturday if I can't get a ticket opening night. Yeah, we'll just have to see. I only have a couple more things.
Yeah, I only have a couple more things too. I wanted to talk real quick though about. So I mentioned Aladdin, but this has nothing to do with Aladdin.
Well, Aladdin was one of the things I wanted to talk about.
We'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the final thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay. Did you see the new Aladdin trailer?
I have. I don't know what to think.
The newest Aladdin trailer, not the one where we first saw Will Smith's genie.
Not the teaser one.
Not the teaser. The actual trailer.
I haven't seen it then.
Okay, the actual trailer. So, let's just put it in perspective. The teaser had me right here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All hope is lost. This movie's going to be awful.
Yeah.
The actual trailer had me off the charts.
Really?
Off the charts. It looks real fucking good. The genie doesn't look stupid now. And if you guys go back a couple episodes when we talked about how bad Will Smith's genie looked, I said, and I don't remember if it was on this show or if it was on Journey, or it was on Journey into Comics that I said this. But when they release another trailer or the day that movie drops in theaters, he's not going to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
They can't afford to. Because so many people vilified that movie the moment they saw that trailer, they instantly lost money.
Yeah.
They lost dividends the day they fucking debuted that teaser. And they fixed it. I liked it. I dug it.
Like, Disney's always done pretty well, in my opinion, with their live-action movies. They started with Maleficent, I think was the first they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then The Jungle Book might have been the next one.
I think The Jungle Book was the next one, and I enjoyed it, but I actually liked Andy Serkis's Mowgli more than I liked The Jungle Book.
See, I haven't seen that.
It's good.
But I love The Jungle Book just for Shere Khan.
Oh, yeah.
The way that Shere Khan was, dude, he was intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really liked The Jungle Book. I called that they were going to be doing a Lion King because I saw Timon and Pumbaa.
Right.
A little Easter egg they had in there. Beauty and the Beast is good with Emma Watson.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, my wife and I went and saw that in theaters there in Chicago, and it was very good. So, I mean, they have a good track record with their live-action movie. It was just... And it wasn't just how the genie looked. I was like, I don't know if Will Smith is the guy you get to play Genie, in my opinion.
The only person I think I would replace him with at this moment right now would be Jack Black.
See, I've heard that, and I don't know what I feel about that. See, to me, I don't know who you get for the Genie role.
It's tough. Who are you going to replace Mufasa with?
Well, luckily, they have James Earl Jones.
I know, but if James Earl Jones wasn't available, who would you fucking pick? Morgan Freeman?
Yeah, I don't know. Thank God. James, please.
Don't leave us. We need you, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, dude, like that's just it. Like some of these iconic roles, and even if it's not the Genie's movie, but he stole the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Mufasa's movie. But who is the most talked about character in that movie? Mufasa.
Or it's either Mufasa or Scar, hands down.
And well, Scar is another incredibly famous actor.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ever remember his name.
I can't remember. Is it Gary Oldman?
Yes.
It is Gary Oldman.
It is Gary Oldman. So, like, you have these, like, great, especially voices, like, iconic voices behind them.
Well, imagine if obviously James Earl Jones hasn't always done Darth Vader, but imagine if we never got James Earl Jones as
Well, there was
Darth
a
Vader.
reason why they changed Darth Vader's voice, because they were like, this doesn't match. And then they're like, get that big old black guy over there.
Get that dude. He fits.
And, yeah, but that's just it. I don't know who you get to replace the Genie.
This is going to be tough.
And so...
I mean, a lot. So here's the thing that we have to remember. Our generation is attached to The Lion King and fucking,
all the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah, let's just say, yeah.
Basically, from 1989 through 1999, you had what was called the Disney Renaissance.
Right.
So it started with The Little Mermaid and technically ended with Tarzan.
Mm-hmm. Today's generation, or like the kids that are in high school right now, this movie isn't being marketed for them. It's being marketed for us.
Yeah.
But we're also the most critical of it.
Yeah.
Because we were alive during that Renaissance.
Yep.
So it's going to be tough. I think you're going to have two generations of people that really love it. So the grandparents right now, like our grandparents going to see it with their grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
So us, I think they're going to really enjoy it. We're going to be uber critical of it. So let me rephrase that. Parents/grandparents are going to go see it with their children, us. They're going to love it. We're going to be uber critical. And then our children/our younger siblings, by maybe a decade, are going to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So we're, much like everything else in our life, we're caught right between the middle where we don't know whether to love it or hate it. Mm-hmm. But we're going to lean one way or the other, and there's not going to be any in between.
I saw a tweet about that, actually. It's like, we're that generation we're in the middle between before technology and right in the middle of it.
Yeah, we're right in the middle between analog and digital.
It's like, so we have the unique skill sets of being able to do both, but we are not quite sure on which to do at times.
Right.
So, which is unique if you think about it, and kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm nervous about it, but Disney always does really well in their live action movies, in my opinion. and more than likely after I see it, I'm gonna be like, hey, that was a lot better than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it will be overall a good movie. I think Lion King will be fantastic.
Where do you go next?
After Aladdin and Lion King?
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you jump right into The Little Mermaid and, Snow White?
Well, they've done so many kind of variants on Snow White with like Snow White and the Huntsman and all
Right.
that stuff.
Those were awful.
I think you kind of avoid those. If it were me, I'd go Mulan.
I think that's actually been confirmed.
Like, that's where I would go.
I think I agree. I think you do Mulan, and then I think you do Pinocchio.
Pinocchio would be great.
Mm-hmm. And this is
What
what I
could make that shit creepy.
and this
too.
is what I brought up a couple weeks ago. If you do Pinocchio, and you continue, let's say this is the second coming of the Disney Renaissance, where now you take all of those Renaissance films and you do them live action. Do you also tap into your Pixar library? Do you do a live action Toy Story 10 years from now? I don't think that they should.
I hope they don't.
I hope that they don't either. I hope Pixar continues to do what Pixar is doing, and the Pixar stuff stays locked away in the vault, and they don't touch it live action.
From what I understand, Pixar is like the only company that Disney kind of will listen to where they say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if Pixar says no, they're not
Like,
fucking doing it.
Pixar's like, that's why it took so long to get Incredibles 2,
And Toy Story 4.
which I don't want Toy Story 4. I'm going to be honest right now. I don't want it. Toy Story 3 ended perfectly. That Toy Story 4 seems unnecessary and a cash grab.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you Toy Story 4 is going to be great.
It's
too.
going to be good. I'm excited for Toy Story 4 because Bo Peep's coming back, and I always fucking wondered what happened with her.
Yeah.
Because she just fucking ghosted Woody. Yeah.
She
Part of
looks
the-
like a badass too.
Yeah. Part of the reason why I'm so say they do convince Pixar to let them do a live action Toy Story. Number one, it'd be real fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not going to get Tim Allen and
Well, just based off their age, I don't think they can do those parts.
yeah, I can't remember his name.
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks. Thank you. Totally. See, that's my brain shut down. But you're just not going to get the cast that you need to fully appreciate those roles, because the thing with Toy Story, it's not in between. It's right on the edge of everything.
Yeah.
So all of us, our parents, us, and our kids are all fully invested into that franchise. And if you fuck with it, there's going to be a problem. But what I was going to say was, I think that if you try and do something Toy Story live action, it affects your ability to do anything Pinocchio live action, because Pinocchio and Toy Story are basically the same fucking story.
I think the only one I could see being a live action movie, other than The Incredibles for Pixar, would be like Ratatouille.
Ooh, Ratatouille would actually probably be a pretty cool one.
And to me, that's an underrated Pixar movie. I don't think it's their best by far, but it's not as bad as people I've heard say, oh, that movie's terrible. No, it's actually pretty good. That would be the only Pixar movie I feel would work in a live action scenario, because I feel like cast wise it wouldn't be hard to find a goofy looking dude, really. It's not really an iconic enough voice to play either the mouse or the dude with the mouse.
Right.
So I feel like you could cast that pretty easily.
I would agree, for sure.
So that's the only one I could see, and then obviously The Incredibles, because again it's just another superhero movie at that point. Except you would have a superhero family. Syndrome would be pretty cool live action, actually.
Well, I think all the villains for Incredibles would be cool live action.
So, I mean, that would be probably where I'd go with live action with Pixar.
I think they just. I think unless they're going to do the couple that you brought up, I think they just totally leave it alone.
I would like to see a Mulan one. Pinocchio, I think, would be pretty cool.
You can't.
They are doing a sequel to Sleeping Beauty, the Maleficent one I saw.
You can't do. What was I just gonna say?
I don't think you can do Tarzan.
I think. Wow. Yeah, you can't. So you can't do Tarzan. You can't do Hercules. Those are both out of the gate, or out of the show. I don't think that you can do a. I think Little Mermaid would be tough.
Yeah.
I think that'd be real tough. I don't think that you can do a Fox and the Hound might be a good one to do.
God, dude, that would make me cry.
That is the saddest fucking movie in history.
It's so sad. It's not even like a sad love story. No, this is a story about, hey, listen, you get older, your friendships die.
And all your friends.
Yeah.
Literally.
Jesus, that movie is sad.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, it is. Maybe a little something more reasonable. Maybe you do something like Coco. You know, you brought up Coco earlier.
I love Coco.
I think Coco would be cool live action.
But does that work because of the Land of the Dead? All the effects they would have to do.
I mean, fuck, they're doing like an entire animal kingdom.
I
CGI.
know, but those animals look realistic. Whereas like Coco's part of its appeal was like these LED colored flowers just randomly flying through the air, and
I think they could do it
aesthetically.
Well, it's just Avatar. James Cameron can do it in fucking Avatar. Why can't
true.
Disney do it with Coco?
That is true. That would be pretty cool. Or do we go Frozen? That's not a Pixar property. We're talking about Pixar. But what if they did something like Tangled?
Tangled be cool.
Wreck-It Ralph, maybe? Well, actually, that one would be pretty hard.
Brandon Stone says, not only did the Toy Story 4 trailer drop today, I haven't seen that. He says Mulan and Little Mermaid are being done. Mulan is more than likely out next year.
Well, I think Mulan will be a really cool one.
I think it's one of the most underappreciated Disney movies that they've ever done.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But
You're fantastic.
well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh.
Oh my. Okay, let's go to our last topic that I wanted to talk about, and I want to bring it up because.
Hold on, can I ask you what it is?
What's up?
Is it Dragon Ball Super being confirmed to continue?
No.
I didn't think it was. That's what I was going to bring up, but go ahead and roll with it, my man.
Yeah, Dragon Ball is being done. Whatever. Yeah. Super sucked.
I almost made Matt have a seizure.
Super just was terrible. No, I want you to give me your thoughts on what has been deemed a failure by critics with Anthem.
I'm about to get triggered like I did last week. So, we talked about this. Brandon Stone and I talked about this on the Game Addicts podcast.
Yep.
Not long ago. I talked about it a little bit, I think, on last week's Podcastrophe episode. I can't remember. I talk a lot. I'm really pissed about Anthem.
Now, are you pissed at the game, or are you pissed at like the state of the game, or is it more of like developer?
All of it. So the moment that Destiny was the moment that Anthem was announced as a looter shooter in the same realm of Destiny and The Division, having played both of those games, I knew what it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was going to be $60 to $100 of 4 to 8 hour long story with cool visuals, cool gameplay, and nothing else. Total lack of content, whether it's in the realm of Sea of Thieves or Destiny or what have you. You're paying a lot of money for very, very little. Cool, you found a new gun. It's the same gun, it's just got a different skin on it. Whoops. Bamboozled ya.
It's a little bit higher power level, maybe.
I am thoroughly just ashamed of what BioWare has become, because, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, because I played the beta of Anthem. I've watched the game from start to completion. I'm just not a fan. Is the gameplay awesome and really snappy and responsive? Cool. It wasn't when I played it. Everyone else that I've watched played it as it has been. But you know what else? The gameplay was snappy and responsive, and the combat was really fun. Mass Effect Andromeda. Mass Effect Andromeda sold better than this game did. Mm-hmm. It reviewed better than this game did. BioWare's shtick is giving me stories that I fucking give a shit about. And a game like Anthem that is totally devoid of story, that you have to learn everything through codec. Like, okay, so an argument that I've seen made is, well, in Dragon Age and Mass Effect, you have to read the codexes or the journal to figure shit out. That's true, and I'll concede to that. But where Mass Effect and Dragon Age differ from Anthem is they also gave you a story without you having to read it. You never had to open that codex.
It was all background.
It was all background.
It was like a background lore that they
yeah,
introduced in Dragon Age and everything,
you didn't need that. That's all Anthem is. Mm-hmm. So, do I want Anthem to succeed? Yes. I want it to have a healthy post-launch life cycle. I want it to succeed because if BioWare continues to fail, EA is going to forcefully remove them, and then I will never have access to something in the realm of Mass Effect, Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age. I'll even throw Jade Empire and Baldur's Gate out there.
Now,
we are never going to get anything like that again if Anthem completely just takes a shit.
You bring up Knights of the Old Republic, like, does that BioWare even still exist? Because those writers aren't there anymore.
I think you have Casey Hudson.
I bring that up because a lot of people, rejoiced when Bungie split from Activision, and they were like, finally, we're gonna get the old Bungie back. And it's like that's not necessarily the case because those people aren't there anymore.
Right, they all left. A lot of them,
their careers.
A lot of them went to 343.
Yeah, they go to 343, or they go to a different studio, or they just say, "Listen, I'm done. I did what I wanted to do. I'm going elsewhere."
Now, one caveat that I do want to throw out there that I do acknowledge that a lot of people don't is stories evolve and develop, and they don't always turn out the way that you want them to. People don't accept that a lot of times, and not every author or writer puts forth the same caliber of material over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I get that. A lot of people won't accept that fact. Everything has to be Mass Effect 2 from here on out for BioWare, or else I'll never play it. Well, Dragon Age Inquisition was not Mass Effect 2 quality. I still really liked it. It won fucking Game of the Year.
It's also hard to, kudos to those writers, like, trying to come up with a story, because it's hard.
I'm a pretty good writer, and it's fucking hard.
It's hard to come up with a fiction to tell somebody
totally from scratch.
Yeah, like I understand that, but I agree with you on the point of the story is so generic with Anthem that it might as well not even be a thing.
Yeah, so here's one of the positives from Anthem, and I brought it up on Game Addicts, and I want to highlight it here again. So from the time that EA announced that all their games from here on out were going to be made using the Frostbite engine, BioWare struggled with it. BioWare struggled with it in Dragon Age. BioWare struggled with it in Mass Effect. BioWare finally figured it out in Anthem. They figured out how to make the fucker work. Now the engine does not work totally in the way that they want it to. But as far as gameplay and playability goes, they made it work. So that gives me hope that if we get a BioWare caliber story again, if we get the golden age of BioWare, if 6 months from now, or let's just say 3 months from now, at E3, EA comes out for their little press conference and they say, hey, we've kept this one under wraps, little bamboozling. We've actually had a KOTOR ready the whole time. It makes me really optimistic because they finally figured out, at least in some capacity, how to work with the Frostbite engine. When before, they couldn't hardly do it at all. They almost didn't make Dragon Age Inquisition because they could not get the shit to work.
Yeah.
And obviously Mass Effect Andromeda struggled because of that engine and because of timetables and other things. But the gameplay worked.
Yeah.
That shit was smooth and fun. So, am I bitter about Anthem? Absolutely. Am I also happy that people aren't denouncing BioWare, they're denouncing EA? Absolutely.
That seems to be the trend. Is the publisher? As we blame the publisher instead of the developer.
Well, I mean, because you got to remember, the publisher's where your bankroll's at. BioWare is not paying their people to make games. EA is paying BioWare to pay their people to make games.
Unless they're a AAA studio.
Right.
Yeah. But this is my issue with Anthem. And, you know, the engine is a good point you bring up, but this thing has been in development for 6 years.
If not longer.
Yeah. I would put it on the longer side, more than likely. Because, you know, everybody talks about, oh, well, Destiny, you know, they had to rewrite the story. It's like, why are we rewriting the story a year before release?
Right.
Because you've been playing this thing since ODST. Like, I saw the teaser in it. A lot of people did. So, you know, games like that, these developers, you know, they have them in, you know, development for so long. How is it not finished? And that was my biggest thing. Like, I'm a guy who came from Destiny. I kind of unexpect, and the Division. I expect the looter shooter genre to kind of be bland when it comes to story.
Right.
That's
It doesn't have to be, though.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but I didn't expect, you know, going into Anthem that I'm going to be blown away by some story.
Right.
For me, the gameplay itself wasn't worth it.
Right, I totally agree.
I'm flying around and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's really fun to fly around. You feel like Iron Man. I'm like, that's cool for 15 minutes. Oh, by the way, I play on PC. You try to play on a mouse and keyboard on that game, it is garbage. It is literally designed for a controller.
Right.
As soon as I plugged in a controller, I had a lot more fun with the gameplay. But, again, I play every other game with mouse and keyboard. So, why this one shooter do I have to play with controller? Because it was designed for a controller. But, gameplay-wise, yeah, like flying around as Iron Man is cool for 5 minutes. The map design, everything is the exact same.
Absolutely.
You are either in a jungle or in a cave. That's what you're doing. There's no diversity as far as like, and I'm going to compare it to World of Warcraft in this sense because World of Warcraft did the looter genre, right? Like, there's so much diversity in the World of Warcraft.
Absolutely.
Like, you can go from a desert to a jungle
To a swamp.
to a Mayan pyramid. And the newest expansion that released, the Battle for Azeroth, that, you know, they introduced these new things that, you know, keep the game looking fresh. Whereas, like, Anthem, and even Destiny, when it dropped, you have multiple planets with different design.
Right.
We have one planet here. It all looks the exact same. So there's a lack of diversity. The enemies there are just easy.
Do you ever
kill.
find out exactly what they are? I can't remember.
Not from what I've seen. Like, I just hear, oh, hey, there's scars again. It's like, wait, why am I shooting these things?
Right.
And there's no real explanation for it. Whereas, like, you know, in Destiny, again, you have an enemy race called the Fallen. It's like, oh,
Which have some really cool story if you read into it.
Yeah, why? And you say it right there. If you read into it. But they do give you an explanation a little bit in the game of why these things are coming after you. Because they fucking invaded.
Because you took their moon.
Everything invaded Earth after that, essentially. So it's like, at least there's some context there. Here it's just, oh no, this planet's just really hostile. Why?
Yeah, why?
Like, why are these things here just shooting me? We all want the Anthem of Creation. Okay, cool. What is the Anthem of Creation?
Right.
I understand what this big-ass rock on Destiny is. It's supposed to be a god that can terraform a planet.
It's a living moon.
So,
So our good friend Brandon Stone added this in the chat. Andromeda was also developed by a team that had never made any full game of any size. They were strictly in charge of multiplayer for BioWare and EA. Not to mention a sandbox third-person shooter RPG. And it was rushed over 14 months over its 5-year cycle due to them restarting 3 different times. And it's still a better game than Anthem. And I 100% agree with that.
Mm-hmm. And that's just it, though, with, like, you're talking about going back to the golden age of BioWare. I don't know if there is a going back, because I don't know if those people are still there.
Well, I think you have Casey Hudson, and I think he remembers the golden age of BioWare because he was in charge for the majority of that.
But does he get to do it because of publisher?
I see, yeah, and then I don't know. I wish that Microsoft, and Brandon Stone and I have discussed this many a time, I wish that Microsoft would have bought them when they had the chance instead of EA.
Mm-hmm. Well, I say the same thing about, like, Bungie. You know, people say, oh, you know, we're going to get the golden age of Bungie. I don't think we are.
I don't really think that there even was a golden age of Bungie. They did one franchise that was pretty okay.
See, I really liked the Halo trilogy, Halo 1, 2, and 3.
I really liked
Halo Reach.
I really liked Halo 1. I really liked Halo 2. I thought Halo 3 was garbage, and I thought Halo Reach was the best game in the series, 1 through 5. No questions asked.
I agree. I loved Halo Reach with a passion.
You played a fucking no-name character that had a number as your designation, and it was more compelling than Master Chief.
So, but I really liked, you know, all these people. I really liked the Halo trilogy. Everybody's talking about, oh, we're going to get the golden age of Bungie. It's like, those people aren't there anymore.
Well, and you know that as far as, you know, 343 was vilified for continuing the franchise. For continuing something that people loved, they were hated. Mm-hmm. And I thought Halo 4 was really, really good. Halo 5 was awful.
I enjoyed Halo 4. I played literally 2 missions of Halo 5 and went, this is trash.
It was 100%. I bought it. I think I bought it for $19, brand new, like 2 years after it came out. And it was not worth that $19 that I spent.
I played it, like I said, I played 2 missions. And I went, nope. And I never played it again. Other than when I was up at Chicago playing multiplayer, and then I was like, this isn't the same Halo multiplayer.
It's not.
But luckily, 343 has granted our wishes. Master Chief Collection will be coming to PC, and I will get to finally play Halo 3 online, and that makes me extremely happy.
Halo Reach is going to be in there, too.
Halo Reach will also be on there, so...
Not to keep the Halo train going, but did you know that Halo Infinite is a reboot?
Is it a reboot?
It's a spiritual successor. It's a reboot.
Well, I'll still play it, because...
What if it's Halo 5?
Oh, that would be terrible.
I mean, they made Halo 5, and it was pretty awful.
Yeah.
So...
Maybe I'll wait until reviews are out.
I'm definitely going to wait for reviews on that one.
That's what I've been lately doing with everything, is I just wait.
Well, you have to. I think you really have to. You have to screen your calls.
Well, especially now, like with things like Anthem coming out, where they're unfinished products, and they're asking you to pay for deluxe editions $80, if not more.
Yeah. I paid $80 for the Centennial Edition of Fallout 76. We haven't even brought that up, and that one's way worse than Anthem.
Exactly. And I told Blaine that when he went to go buy that game. I was like, don't buy that shit.
And then he bought it. He bought it before I did, and he's like, man, this game is good. And I said, there's no fucking way. There's no way. So I bought it. And I was like, yep, I was right.
Like, I saw every YouTuber I watched was just like, don't buy this. It is literal trash. Like, there are characters and T-poses still. Don't buy it. And... so I tried to warn everybody.
They fucking bamboozled us.
I was like, what the fuck got my hand wet? It's your dog's nose.
That's my pupper.
But
he's a good pupper.
Other than that, I think that's all we kind of got today.
That's all I've got. We have a Patreon active now. Look at us.
Dog.
Look us up at Podcastrophe Podcast on Patreon.com. We've got a couple tiers that I'm gonna go through here. We've got a $5 a month tier, or I'm sorry. We've got a $1 a month tier. Chipping in. Hey, you like us. You even like us enough to chip in $1, and we appreciate you. The emotional support tier, $5 or more per month. you're seriously involved, you want to be there for us, and we see you. Get a sticker and a pin for this, and we give you a shout-out. So we will mail you a sticker and a button, and we will witness you live on this podcast.
And that does help us emotionally.
Yes.
We need that too.
We have the Sticker Club for $10 or more a month. Damn, you get a sticker. Actually, you get stickers for as long as you pledge. Whenever we get a new sticker or new stock of stickers, we will send you one. New pledges get one of every sticker we have in stock when signing up. We also now have a $50 tier.
It's quite a jump.
Well, there's a couple other ones that we're kicking around, but Blaine and I talked about this one today. For $50 or more a month, we will play a game of Edward 40 Hands live, Drunkastrophe style.
I'm down.
I will slam the fuck out of some King Cobras for $50 a month. So,
no game we should learn how to play is that game on the show New Girl. It's like a drinking game. It's called like America the Great or something like that.
I've never watched New Girl.
My wife and I watched it, and you can legit play this game, but it's just ridiculous, and the rules are absolutely ridiculous.
I like ridiculous
That we
things.
should try to do the game off of Always Sunny.
Oh yeah, I'm fucking down for that. But anyway, for $50 a month, we'll play really dumb games and make asses out of ourselves for your fucking entertainment. And I think that's pretty cool.
Because clearly we don't do that already.
We are mentally, emotionally struggling human beings.
We are consummate professionals, though.
You could help us not struggle financially.
Which would help us emotionally and mentally.
Yes. It's a cycle. It's a fucking circle of life. It's going all the way back to the beginning of this podcast. But before we get out of here, I got to do some plugs. We're going to do some plugs together, I hope, because I'm really bad at plugs.
I am also bad at
Well, you
plugs.
just jump in whenever I stop.
Let me pull up all the stuff so I can see.
Mine's not going to be as involved as Blaine's.
Okay.
You can check us out every Thursday in audio form on the Journey into Comics Network and our own feed. Hopefully you're listening to us on our own feed. If not, you can check us out every Tuesday in between 5:30 and 6 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other places if we can stream there too.
We are also now on Spotify.
We are now so on Spotify. But audio form, we are on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify. We're working on Stitcher Radio and a couple others. Kind of struggling getting there. I don't know why they won't work, but there's lots of shows on our network. We all talk about random stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Some more than others. We're probably the most random.
Yeah. But appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hope you guys come back. Give us some topics to talk about in the comment section. Feel free to
we've
give us a comment, and we'll try to react to it as best we can.
Yeah, we don't always have to just go full.
We don't always have to bitch about DC.
We don't always see when Matt and I get into our grooves. We just bitch and complain. I feel like today was probably the most optimistic, and
it was pretty contained.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't yell and we didn't argue with each other. It was very constructive. Mm-hmm. We had some good discussion.
We had nice conversation.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. But anyway, if that is all.
Oh shit, you're doing the Blaine thing.
I don't really have any other plugs. We had is there something going on this Saturday?
Oh yeah, the coolest thing going on this Saturday. We've got Fun for Funds. It's a basically fundraiser for the Journey into Comics Network, so we can continue to put forth fantastic quality content for you, artist owned, listener supported. That's us. You guys make us successful.
That's pretty dope.
Because otherwise we suck.
Yeah.
But at the North End Pub here in Lafayette, Indiana. We're going to be doing some live podcasts. Some juicy bands are going to be playing in the evening. There's going to be Brews with Dudes, Dungeons with Dudes. We're going to do a show. It's going to be all kinds of good stuff there. So if you guys want to come out and support us, I think it's $10 at the door, and then there's going to be door prizes and all kinds of stuff, I think. So check us out Saturday, starting at 4 p.m., 3 p.m., 3 to 4 p.m. It's Saturday.
Yeah, it's Saturday. Show up at 3 just so you can get there early, possibly.
And they've got really good pizza. So if you show up at 3, you get some badass pizza.
Boom.
Bam.
I don't think we have anything else.
I literally have nothing else to say.
If that is all, that is all. So thanks for coming by and have yourself a big dick day.
Bye, y'all.
Woke up this morning with my dick in my hand. Girl is to the right of me, just like I planned. It's gonna be a big dick day. 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 Big dick day. It's gonna be a big dick day. It's gonna be a big dick day. It's gonna be a big dick day.
Hey, this is Nathan Explosion from Death Clock, and I just wanted to tell you guys about an event coming up in here pretty soon, March 23rd. Fun for Funds. It's a Journey into Comics network event.
Oh yeah, and it's featuring live podcasts from Brews with Dudes, and Podcastrophe, and Dungeons with Dudes, and Journey into Comics.
With performances by those jackasses in band number 1. Also Boner Shelby, Walk Among Us, and Yesterday's Chips.
I do not want to say the things about the comedians, the big Santa Claus's comedians, them's Patrick's Mercies. It's the live stand-ups guys that will be there at the North End Pubs on March 23rd.
Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown, baby. Here to tell you one last thing, man. You might have forgot about it, but doors are opening at 3. We're gonna have podcasts at 4. You're gonna pay $10, baby, and it's 21 and up. That's a fact, Jack. Check it out.